Comparing numbers helps us know which one is greater and which one is less. So if I had $534, would I have more money than if I had $528, or would that be less money? So that's what we're going to try to figure out here today. So when I start to compare, I'm going to start comparing in the hundreds place because that's the greatest value. So I'm going to look at my numbers that I've already sketched out. And I notice that both of my numbers have 500s, which means that those numbers are the same. So I need to go check out my tens to figure out if where my numbers differ, since tens is the next place value, the greatest place value after hundreds. I noticed that 528 has 2 tens, which has a value of 20, and 534 has 3 tens, which has a value of 30. So I know that 3 tens is more than 2 tens, so that tells me that 534 is my greatest number. I don't have to look at the ones at all yet because I've already figured out where the difference was and which number was greater. So once I figure that out using the first greatest place value that has a different number, then I don't have to look at the next one. So it does not matter that this number has 8 ones and this one only has 4, because I already figured out that 3 tens is greater than 2 tens. So then when I come down at the bottom, it says 528 is blank 534. Well, we said 534 was the greater number. So that means that 528 is the lesser number. So when I go down at the bottom to write that, I would say 528 is less than 534. And then using my symbols, this is the less than symbol. Remember, it's going to open toward the greatest number. And if you forget that, I always like to think of the less than number, if I turn my paper sideways, is kind of like an L. So less than looks like an L, and it starts with an L. And so then I can remember that 528 is less than 534 when it is written like this. Again, we start comparing numbers using the greatest place value. If those are the same, we move to the next greatest place value. If those are different, we can figure out which number is greater or less. But if those were still the same, we would have to move on to the ones. But in this case, the tens was the first spot that was different, so we could use the tens here. Go ahead and practice another example on your own. Compare 134 to 243. Go ahead and pause the video, and then when you're ready, go ahead and check. Alright, I'm going to sketch 134 here. And so I'm going to use this as a place value chart with hundreds, tens, and ones. And then split my place value chart in half so that I can show 134 and 243. 134 has 100, 3 tens, and 4 ones. 243 has 2 hundreds, 4 tens, and 3 ones. In this example, 2 is greater than 1 in my hundreds place. That is where my first difference is. And so I can already figure out that 243 is greater than 134. If you would like another example, go ahead and pause the video. We're going to compare 341 to 349. Both of these numbers have 3 in the hundreds place, so I'm going to look at the tens. Both of those numbers have 4 in the tens place, so I have to look at my ones. So I need to figure out if 1 is greater or less than 9 ones. We all know that 1 is less than 9. So then I'm going to put my less than symbol in between these numbers. Remember that less than symbol kind of looks like an L if you turn your paper. So 341 is less than 349.